Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, here with your Hurricane Pro and HD video blog for August 27th, 2013. Taking a look at the wide Atlantic shot real quick. One area of note here in and around the Florida Straits, parts of the Bahamas, and extreme South Florida. There's an upper level low. Has a little curlicue shape to it, yes, but it's just a mid to upper level low, cold air cyclonically rotating in the atmosphere. Not going to develop into anything to be concerned with. Sometimes those will work their way down to the surface and become a factor, but this is more of the cold air in the atmosphere interacting with all that warm, moist surface layer air that rises through the heating of the day, goes up into that cold air pocket, and you get these showers and thunderstorms, which can produce gusty winds and lots of lightning. So be mindful if you're going to be boating or out at the beach anywhere in the Bahamas, especially the extreme western Bahamas right here and extreme South Florida through the Keys. This area shows up real nicely on the 500 millibar chart of the GFS right there. That's the upper level low, the energy associated with it, and you can clearly see the counterclockwise rotation with this upper level low. Kind of interesting to see. Sometimes they work their way down to the surface, but none of the computer models indicating that that will be the case with this system. We will be watching with great interest this large envelope of energy, this pretty expansive tropical wave out in the eastern Atlantic. The whole area is gradually gaining some rotation, the vorticity in the atmosphere starting to increase as this system moves west. The computer models generally develop it slowly, but eventually as it heads towards the islands here, this could develop, and the Hurricane Center has been watching this and has suggested 30% chance of development over the next 5 days. In fact, if we look at the GFS, this is the 12Z run, and it's going to start over here. Right here is the very beginning. There's our system right there. You see it moving right along. Every once in a while, a little L will pop up right there, showing that it gets a little bit better organized, and this is out to 5 days. So just east of the islands, this tries to take shape. I think anything west of about 50 degrees longitude, which is about right in here somewhere, conditions are going to be rather favorable for storms to develop over the next several days to weeks as we move towards the climatological peak of the hurricane season. So you folks here in the Lesser Antilles, keep your eye on this tropical wave. It looks like it's going to try to develop as it closes in on you. Hard to tell how strong it would be. The models are off and on with their intensity. I'm not sure if they're having issues, because this is a data void area out here. There's no weather balloons being launched, very little upper air data. A lot of what's gathered is gathered by satellites, which do a good job, but there are no surface stations out there sending up weather balloons, so that's something to keep in mind. So we'll see how that goes over the next few days. You notice there's another system that comes off right about here, and it starts to develop and move off to the northwest with time. So folks in the Cape Verde Islands, I don't know how many users are in the Cape Verde Islands, but they're going to have another tropical system to deal with. It looks like it's going to develop rather rapidly, and history shows us that when these things develop this early, they tend to curve out to sea rather quickly because of that fast development. And not to be outdone with all these other systems developing, the GFS trying to spawn a sort of hybrid system here. You see it right there. We'll see if the Hurricane Center mentions it. More of a frontal low or hybrid subtropical type system with energy coming down out of the eastern United States and Canada, spawning a little bit of a surface low that comes up to the northeast here with time. Interesting feature to watch. Whether or not it's a subtropical storm and the Hurricane Center mentions it, time will tell. In the eastern Pacific, let's switch over to the eastern Pacific. We do have a broad area, a huge paragraph written about it. Basically, this is the parent tropical wave that spawned what was Tropical Storm Fernan the other day, and that energy has now made its way into the Pacific. So you have this large area of energy trying to consolidate, and it'll eventually head off to the northwest here with time, bringing rainfall to Pacific Mexico. It could slowly develop, but it's not going to be much of a problem other than rainfall. Now, I say other than rainfall. Keep in mind that is a hazard of tropical cyclones and even tropical disturbances. And an example down here in Mexico where Fernan went in, moderate tropical storm, very short-lived. Some people said it shouldn't have been named. They are wrong. We won't go into that today. But this rainfall from Fernan killed at least a dozen people in landslides due to the excessive rainfall from that system. So there are 4 hazards with tropical cyclones: wind, surge, rain, and downburst winds / tornadoes kind of lumped together. 4.5 hazards, whichever way you want to look at it. And rainfall is one of them. And even with tropical disturbances like we see here in the Pacific, you can get excessive rainfall, and that can be a problem, just like we saw in Mexico with the unfortunate loss of life due to Tropical Storm Fernan. Not even a hurricane, and yet it took more than a dozen lives down in Mexico, unfortunately. So just keep that in mind. Do not dismiss rainfall as being nothing to worry about. In some cases, it's everything to worry about. All right, well, we'll keep an eye on what's going on with that tropical wave out in the eastern Atlantic. Slowly but surely, things are going to be changing over the next few days to weeks, and things should get busy, as we've been talking about. I know a lot of people are starting to wonder, where are all these hurricanes? Trust me, September can be a very busy month. We've seen it in the past, 2001, 2002, as examples, where you get a lot of named storms over a short period of time, including several hurricanes. So we want to make sure we are prepared. At least for now, nothing to worry about in the near term, and that's great news. Have a good rest of your Tuesday afternoon. Again, I am Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com, my site. Always an honor to do these videos for you on Hurricane Pro in HD. I'll be back with more info for you tomorrow.